see every day, an adult woman meets an underage boy at a funeral, and that leads to her allegedly sexually abusing him. Yeah, that's what authorities in Florida are saying about this 20-year-old suspect. Time to discuss. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Funerals. They're incredibly sad. They're reflective, those emotional times. These are those events when you remember the person you lost, usually sharing that moment with loved ones. It's a very somber time. You know what funerals are not? They're really not a place to meet a romantic interest. This isn't Wedding Crashers. And you know what they really aren't? They aren't a place for an adult to meet a minor to then sexually abuse them. Yeah, that's the allegations out of Florida that we got to talk about right now. 20-year-old Isla Gonzalez Salinas has...
Another adult woman taking advantage of a young male. This has become quite commonplace nowadays, hasn't it? Where women are going after children for sex. What has this this has become, oh man, this generation that we have now, people are raised wrong. They think they can get away with whatever they want. And women now think they can get away with having sex with young boys. Grown women. Maybe this has been happening more often than we think. You know? Because a lot of crime doesn't get reported. Because victims are fearful of coming forward. This is something.
Or lascivious battery of a victim for allegedly sexually abusing an underage boy that she apparently met at a funeral last year, November 2024. Now, we don't exactly know the circumstances about how she met this boy or allegedly met this boy at this funeral. We also don't know the exact age of this boy, although I should tell you, the charges that she's facing, based on the reporting, seem to indicate a victim range of 12 to 16 years old. Now, she has been released on bond after being arrested by the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office deputies. And as you can imagine, there are a lot of things to talk about with this. So let me bring in civil rights, no matter what the topic is. Melba, good to see you.
Great to see you, Jesse. Miss ya.
I missed you too. Now, I thought, what was the case that we need to bring you back on? Yes, the allegations here that this woman met an underage boy at a funeral and then proceeded to allegedly sexually abuse him. How does that even happen? I mean, meeting somebody at a funeral like this, I don't know the circumstances of it, but quite the headline.
Yeah, and clearly that speaks to her being a predator. Because no one in their right mind is, first of all, going to be at a funeral grieving and be like, ooh, yeah, that person looks cute. So normally that's just a regular human being wouldn't react that way. But then secondly, to look at a child, because let's make no mistake, anyone between the ages of 12 and 16 is a child. So to look at a child and then decide to target that child for future sexual encounters is just beyond being disgusting, speaks to her possibly being a predator of some sort.
Well, I tell you this.
Possibly?
Possibly? That nobody meets other people at funerals.
I mean, possibly.
This video, we're going to get comments from people who are like, oh no, that's not strange. I have a feeling this is maybe happens more than I know. I don't know. But what doesn't happen and what shouldn't happen is someone meeting an underage person and then allegedly sexually abusing them. So let me go into a little bit how this happened. So the reporting indicates that the two apparently started communicating on social media, Melba, and it escalated. According to WPEC, it escalated into then illegal sexual activities multiple times in December. Melba, if that's true, is that a pattern you've seen before? going from communicating on a social media platform or texting, and then it escalates into meeting up and obviously the allegations of sexual contact.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very familiar pattern because, again, she's meeting the child where he's most comfortable. So he's comfortable on social media, interacting that way. And that's another way of her showing, like, hey, even though I may be older, I'm just like you. I like the same things you do. So it creates this false commonality in a way. And then once that grooming and also the kind of disarming of the child in terms of letting their guard down, feeling safe, and all of that. Once that's been accomplished, then it moves offline into real life where unfortunately she made the choice to basically harm this child repeatedly over the course of time.
By the way, off topic, but another serious issue I want to talk to you about. Can we talk for a second about debt? Yeah, debt doesn't just show up one day. Bill 21, that's 8 on photos. And it's a little bit alarming, and it makes me wonder, this is not the first case that I've covered, where you see social media being a conduit to have these conversations.
Yeah, I think this really lays at the feet of the parents. And this, to be clear, this is not blaming the parents, but I think parents need to be a bit more vigilant in terms of who their child is connecting with on socials. I think every parent should be their child's friend on socials. So that way they know what they're posting, who they're communicating with. And again, this is not to take away the child's autonomy, but it's a matter of making sure the child is safe. And also, you have to have very robust discussions with your child as well